This is macOS Ken.
There is a new street-high price target for Apple. Public betas for this fall's OS updates are out, and an email from a listener on Apple's latest movie. It is Tuesday, the 16th of July, 2024. Hey, hi, how are ya? I'm Ken Ray, and this is news from macOS Ken, brought to you by yours truly and supported by people like you, patrons through Patreon. Find out more and add your support at patreon.com/macOSCan. Doing all right? All right. Move over, Daniel Ives. Somebody woke Loop Capital Markets analyst Ananda Barua. MarketWatch had the analyst raising his rating on Apple shares and setting a 12-month price target that makes Ives' $275 target look conservative's not the right word, small is not the right word, understated is not the right word, but, well, you get where I'm going. You will be shocked to find that the thing that's got him so excited is AI. The way he and his see it, upcoming iPhones have a shot at becoming the base camp of choice for consumers in generative AI, the way iPhone became the base camp for social media 15 years ago, and iPod was the base camp for media consumption before it. Additionally, the new iPhones that people bought when COVID set in are far from new at this point. So even for people not upgrading for AI specifically, it's probably time for an upgrade. He's also really excited for the iPhone after next, referring to it as a new iPhone platform, and no, MarketWatch does not say what he meant by that. All of that was enough to prompt a whiplash-inducing change in direction for Barua's firm where Apple is concerned. He used Monday's note to change his rating on the stock from hold to buy. He also raised his 12-month price target on the shares from a very underwater $180 to a hope you brought some oxygen with you, $300. Also getting the Apple Intelligence memo on Monday was Morgan Stanley analyst Eric Woodring. The same MarketWatch piece had the analyst naming Apple stock a top pick for his firm. Another piece on Woodring's note from Apple Insider had the analyst arguing that Apple's version of AI is a clear catalyst for a multi-year product upgrade cycle, including iPhones and other hardware. Outside of iPhone, Apple Intelligence will be limited to Macs and iPads powered by some sort of M-series processor. The need for Apple Silicon in tablets and computers makes possible a mini upgrade cycle in his estimation. I should say, the notes on his note only reference iPad when it comes to the need for Apple Silicon and a mini upgrade cycle. It's true for Mac too, though, so I don't understand why he didn't bring that up. Anyway, reports say the analyst admits to having previously underestimated how material the upgrade cycle could be. One wonders whether that's because he forgot about the iPad and keeps forgetting about the Mac. Woodring already had an overweight rating on Apple shares, though making the stock a top pick is a bit like a cherry on the sundae, on the frosting, on the cake. He also pulled his price target out of the drink, raising it from $216 to $273. Apple's focus on India seems to be paying off. A piece from Bloomberg on Monday had Apple's sales on the subcontinent up 33% for the 12 months ending March of 2024. The piece says sales went from $6 billion to $8 billion year to year, with more than half of that coming from iPhone. That's according to one secret source either inside the Indian government or privy to government info. At least that's the implication. The Bloomberg piece points out that Apple doesn't break out India revenue in its earnings statements, but it is required to report annual sales in the country to local authorities. So they're not saying it's a government guy or gal, but they do seem to imply it. Apple representatives in India did not respond to requests for comment, according to the report. The UK has questions about Apple, Google, and PayPal. Apple Insider highlights a Bloomberg report that says the United Kingdom's Financial Conduct Authority and its payment systems regulator have launched a joint and all-encompassing investigation into digital wallets. Questions thought to be in the mix include, how do we know existing wallets aren't anti-competitive? Can digital wallets lessen dependence on the Visa and MasterCard networks? How much is who paying to process transactions? And what happens if the blessed things stop working? While the report says the bodies are curious about the aforementioned institutions, it also says exactly who regulators are talking to is not known. Whoever it is, they've got a relatively small window through which to crawl. They've set a deadline for responses of the 13th of September 2024, according to the report. Apple seeded revised third betas of iOS 18, iPadOS 18, and macOS 15 Sequoia to developers on Monday, according to a couple of pieces from Mac Rumors. They did that mere hours before... Drumroll, please! No? Fine. They seeded the third developer betas before letting fly with the first public betas of this fall's OS updates, Vision OS 2 and tvOS 18 not included. A piece from Engadget says the first public betas are available for iOS and iPadOS 18, macOS 15 Sequoia, and watchOS 11. A lot of what was announced during WWDC for the various operating systems can be found in this week's betas, including customization options for iOS, a native calculator app for iPadOS, and iPhone mirroring for the Mac. That said, testers will have to be patient for the big announcements for WWDC. Apple Intelligence features are not expected until this fall. Still, there is plenty to play with. Test. Folks who are interested can find out how at beta.apple.com. Brand new hardware from Apple on Monday. Not really, but kind of. Apple issued a press release announcing HomePod Mini in midnight. Now you may be thinking, didn't they have HomePod Mini in midnight? No, silly, that was space gray. As a piece from Engadget puts it, Apple replaced the black HomePod Mini with another black HomePod Mini that looks so similar it's hard to tell the difference. Inside, it is the same machine. Outside, well, there's the brand new color, of course. Also, it is more eco-friendly. According to Engadget, Apple says the midnight version is made with 100% recycled mesh fabric. All of the rest of the HomePod Mini lineup, including the space gray option, has a cover made with 90% recycled plastic. Otherwise, it is the same machine. The Midnight HomePod Mini is up for order now through Apple's site. It'll be on store shelves tomorrow, the 17th of July. And finally today, get ready to compute like it's Windows 95. Or later, really. Mac Rumor says Apple has approved the first retro PC emulator for iPhone, iPad, and Apple Vision Pro. Over the weekend, the Cupertino company gave the green light to UTM-SE. Just like the retro gaming emulators, the report says UTM-SE requires that users supply the operating systems they want to emulate, but the UTM site includes guides for Windows XP through Windows 11 emulation, as well as downloads of pre-built virtual Linux machines. So, if retro computing is your jam, jam on it.
Let's all go to the lobby. Let's all go to the lobby. Let's all go to the lobby to get ourselves a treat.
I get my head so wrapped in the streaming thing I forget when some of Apple's smaller movies hit the Cineplex. Thank goodness John was there to remind me. He wrote over the weekend to say, I took the missus to see Fly Me to the Moon last night for a date. Our first real movie date since the pandemic. Yikes. He said yikes, not me. Overall, we thought it was a great movie. We both liked it. They really captured the atmosphere of the time. I appreciated the authenticity of the time period. 5 stars. Audiences seem to agree. They give the film an 89% on Rotten Tomatoes. Critics are fine with it, though not over the moon, if you'll pardon my use of the term. They do give it a still fresh 67% score, though. Scarlett Johansson, Channing Tatum, Apple Original, in theaters. John likes it, and he likes this show apparently, so there you go. macOS Ken, brought to you by me and supported by people like you, patrons through Patreon. Find out more and add your support at patreon.com/macOSken. Advertising handled by Backbeat Media. Online at backbeatmedia.com. You can reach me a couple of ways. Info at macosken.com or call 716-780-4080. Until next time, that is news from macOS Ken. I'm Ken Ray.
Ciao.